All right, hello everybody. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss with another fantasy football offseason report. Lots going on here over the next couple of weeks. We have the NFL Combine coming up, so lots of NFL draft videos, plus the NCAA tournament. So I know some of you know me from the NCAA tournament preview bracketology that I've been doing over the last 10 years. I know it got a lot of attention 2 of the last 3 years. I finished in the top 200 overall in the ESPN bracket challenge. So, and last season I got 3 of the final 4 teams correct, plus the Stone Cold winner in Kansas that I did correctly pick. So, I'm not saying I'm going to have all the answers again this year, but the system that I use to pick at least final 4 teams, give yourself the best chance of winning it all, I'm going to be using that system again. So when the bracket comes out, March Madness, when the Sunday bracket comes out, Monday night will be my bracketology live stream, where I'm going to go through the entire bracket, identify who I think the final 4 teams will be and who the eventual champion is. So last year I correctly picked Kansas to finish, to win it all. And a couple of years before that, 2019, I picked Virginia correctly as well. So, recently I've had a lot of success with that. So make sure you keep an eye on that if you're an NCAA tournament fan. Of course, my NFL draft guide available on Amazon, and a fantasy football draft guide, early off-season edition, 2 editions. That edition will be coming out probably in the next month or so. And the post-draft edition, the late edition, will come out, of course, after the NFL draft. Now, today I wanted to talk about Javonte Williams. Beginning of October last season was a real low point for the fantasy football community. And we all deal with injuries when it comes to fantasy football. I mean, that's just part of the game. You can't predict it. Some guys are more injured than others. But when one of your opponent loses when your opponents lose players, you don't lose sleep over it. You don't feel bad for them. Because it's a dog eat dog world of fantasy football. Let's face it. But the one exception I think we can make there was when it came to Javonte Williams. I think everybody in fantasy football was disappointed at what happened. He was a second-year kid last season. Finally was pushing Melvin Gordon behind him and in the rearview mirror to become the bell cow back that we all wanted him to be. We all believed in the talent. It was obvious as a rookie when he split 50-50 down the middle with Gordon. It was kind of a frustrating arrangement. So when Williams really opened up the season in big fashion, catching a bunch of passes in the opener, and running well, it looked like he was going to be the bell cow back for the Broncos and be, on the early stages of a true breakout season, a PPR monster campaign that he was fully capable of having. But then disaster struck in the form of a torn ACL and a torn LCL. So listen, when you're talking about multiple tears in a knee, it extends the recovery time, first of all, and also extends the time period of when a player starts to feel like their old selves. Generally, when it comes to ACL injuries, they say that you have to be a full season removed before your old self. But if it's multiple tears, if it's just an ACL, that's one thing. But then when you have whether it's a LCL, PCL, whatever, that extends things even longer. And that's what Williams suffered last season. And the fact that it came in October and not during the summer, during training camp, really puts 2023 in a very murky scenario for Williams. Now, he had 204 rushing yards, 4.3 per carry before the injury. Also caught 16 passes for 76 yards. So he was on his way to catching 40 plus, probably 50 plus passes, and running for over 1,000 yards and probably 7 to 10 touchdowns. So it would have been a huge season. But now, of course, he suffers the injuries, out for the season. Devastating blow for his owners who had to take him in the 3rd round in their drafts. And now, so what do we do with 2023? Well, here's the thing. I think what you have to do is you have to look at J.K. Dobbins, Baltimore Ravens running back. Now, J.K. Dobbins himself suffered a multiple tear knee injury in 2021 training camp, and he missed the entire 2021 season, and he did not return for the start of 2022 until week 3. And even when he returned in week 3, he lacked explosion. He seemed to have lost a step. He was not his old self. I know towards the end of the season, he looked better, but the fact that he suffered his injury in the summer and didn't return to week 3 is a telling situation, because Williams suffered his injury 6 weeks later in terms of the stage when Dobbins did during the course of an NFL season. So if Dobbins came back in week 3, it stands to reason that we're looking like, probably week 9, week 10, midway point of the season. So what are you willing to pay? And then when you add the fact that he's probably not going to have his explosion, he's not going to have his top shelf speed, it's a really ugly, I think, situation for Williams. Now, for me personally, I'm not drafting him. I'm not gonna go to the well into my draft saying, okay, I want Javonte Williams. Certainly prior to last season, hell yeah, I wanted him. But now I'm going to take a pass. Unless he really crashes way down to the point where you have to take him, I'm not going to seek him out. I'm just not doing it. Even if he comes back week 5 or 6, whatever, he's still going to be eased into action. And again, may not be full bore until, December. Now, the one thing, too, that's positive is that Sean Payton is the coach, and we saw Sean Payton, what he did with Alvin Kamara with the Saints when Kamara had his best seasons. That is possible for Javonte Williams, in December into the fantasy football playoffs. So there is that allure, but I want to construct my team with as few injury question marks as possible, and drafting Williams goes completely against that tried and true philosophy of a winning team. So I'm going to look to pass on Williams, get somebody more stable, and then revisit this in 2024. That's how I'm looking at it. All right, hit that subscribe, hit the notification button. More videos on the way.